Greetings, everyone, to this introductory episode of History on the Fly. Today, we're getting started on this historical journey. We're not sure where it's going to take us, but we've been looking forward to at least having the opportunity of bringing it to you. Today, we're going to be assembling a vise that Gretchen's father built in the late 1940s, as near as we know.
It was there when I was born, I think. I don't know.
Or at least when you remember.
When I remember, yeah.
Of course. And I told you to put your mic on and I forgot to put mine on. So I'm sorry, folks. The mic will probably come in a lot clearer now that I put the mic on. Anyway, what we're going to be doing is assembling the vise. And why do we have to assemble it? Well, we donated this vise to the Federation of Fly Fishers like 10, 12 years ago when they had their museum in Livingston, Montana. Well, subsequently, the Federation of Fly Fishers changed the name to Fly Fishers International, and the museum was closed. And so we got the vise back a couple of weeks ago, and the only way I could transport it from Livingston to Boise was to disassemble it. So what we have to do today is put it back together and see if we can at least get it to go round and round. Now, here's where the fun's going to be. Gretchen is the expert on this, and it's been a long time since she's used it. I've never been able to make the doggone thing go. This is going to be fun because usually I'm the one showing her how to do something new, and then sometimes it's the other way around, but it's been more like that in our relationship. And this time I am a total neophyte. You and I will be starting together on tying flies with our feet and our hands at the same time. Going to be a fun trip, but let's grab the camera over here and we'll take it out into the other room where we have the vise, and we'll get it set together. And I'll grab that camera, Gretchen, and I'll meet you out there in the office. And, let's see. Just grab that and take that with us. And we'll walk out here and introduce you to this vise. Now, first off, before we introduce you to that vise, we'll show you one that Gretchen has had for a long time, and we'll show you the differences. Coming out here, you've seen this vise in the past. This is the one made out of a treadle sewing machine that Gretchen has had for years. It has one problem. Now, the treadle has never been converted to commercial fly tying. And yes, it works. It goes around and around, as you can see. But at the top or the bottom of the thing, it freezes up. And you have to move it off center to get it to continue to go, or you got to keep going. Well, when a sewing machine is hooked up to it, there's a fly wheel inside of the sewing machine that makes that problem not a problem. But when you have a fly tying vise hooked up with no flywheel attached to it, you have to split the treadle. And that's why we needed to get Gretchen's father's machine, the one he used for commercial tying, because as you can see, we have a treadle here that's been split in half, and 2 feet work on this, and it doesn't become eye-centered. It just, it works very smoothly, easily. You can work it forwards and backwards. And right now, I couldn't get this in the truck the way it was. There's the top. Here's the base. And we're going to set this down and see if we can get the base back on. I want to point out something, though, to you. I'm going to set this camera down. One of the fun things is over the years, this is so antique. And I know none of you ever noticed something as minuscule as this. But I want you to see the slot on the screws that we're using. When you buy stuff today, have you ever noticed that you almost always get Phillips screws and you never get slotted screws? Well, like I said, this was assembled back in the 40s. That's what they used back then, and I've used a lot of them myself. But anyway, we're going to pick this cover up and put it on and screw it in place. First off, that's the belt. It's a leather belt for a treadle sewing machine. Gretchen will show it to you while I pick up the the cover and the vise. And darn thing's heavier than you'd think it would be. Goodness gracious. Okay. Now let's see, what do we have to do to get it to line up? Okay, I see what's going on here. That's falling in place. Now we're going to have to get the screws to line up. I'll just grab those and get down on the floor, and I'll hand you those if you want to hand them to me. That's hopefully lining up. Find out here in a minute if it is. Looks like it's lining up pretty good. I'll just get on the other corner. I won't tighten this up all the way until I get the, I'll have to come over to your side there, Gretchen, I think. Well, it looks like I got that one lined up too. Okay, and let's me have that other one.
Let people watch you.
Okay, do you have the other screw?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good. Let me get back under here because this one is not lining up too good. Well, I'll have to do it left-handed. In fact, folks, if you'll notice, this vise that we're messing with here today, you notice that the jaws face in a left-handed direction. Well, in the real world of tying flies with your feet and your hands, there is no right and left-handed. It's anyway, when you tie with your feet and your hands, as I understand it, I'll go over here and try the other corner.
Maybe I can get this one started with my hand.
Yep, good idea. Okay. Anyway, as we were saying, there is no right and left. It's forwards and backwards because you are, well, it's a whole new ball game. That's why I'm having such a difficult time figuring out how to do it. Well, it's forwards and backwards, and your feet decide whether you go forwards or back. And I have to admit, after more than 60 years at the vise, my feet do not know the difference between forwards and backwards other than coming closer to the table or getting further away from the table. And this is, well, you have any luck there? Well, let me try it. Let me try it from the front here. Maybe I can see a little bit better. There we go. Got that one tightened up.
Okay, there we go.
Good. And I'll tighten up this one. I'll hand you the screwdriver if you want to tighten up that corner over there, and I'll get the belt down through here. Now, what we have here, folks, is I'll jump up here real quick and show you. Now, this is not a regular belt like you're used to seeing on sewing other things, you know, like cars and so forth. This is leather. It's got a hook in one end, and the other end has got a hole, and the hook goes through the hole. That's how you hook it up. And we have several other treadle machines around here that are actually made for sewing, and they all work the same way. So let's run that down through, and then I'll go down below to get it hooked around the fly wheel.
Are these all tightened down?
You got them? And there, that's back together. And so now you just push this to make the jaws go around. Well,
Here, let's
that's what we're
see.
going to be learning
Whoop,
over the next.
there, see that?
Yeah, let me move the vise down here or the pick camera so you can see what Gretchen's doing. That's what she does with her feet. Keep going. And to make the jaws go round and around and stop and back up, whatever else. And that's all done with the feet on those split treadles. But let's move this back into the studio. And we'll wind up with all of you here. All right. And it's connected and ready to go. Now, what are we going to do with it? Oh, my goodness.
Well, first thing, I'm going to practice a little.
That's a good idea. Then you're going to show me how to make it at least go around, forward, and backward, which I can't. I have a hard time doing when I'm looking at it, just using my hands and trying to make it go. Quite frankly, I'm not even sure which is forward and which is back, but we'll find out together. And if I say any bad words, I'll bleep them out. It's okay.
It's probably been 40 years since I've done this.
It's been 65 years at the vise, and I've never done it. So, except one fly I tied on that old machine out there in the other room. Anyway, one of the things though that we've discovered is that Gretchen, when we got married, I had to teach her how to use a bobbin because they didn't use bobbins on these. In fact, well, we'll talk about that at length. But
Well, I had tweezers and scissors.
Tweezers and scissors was everything. And anyway, didn't use bobbins, and we'll be showing you how all this works. But for now, we're going to be signing off, and that's a wrap until next time. And we're not sure exactly how often we're going to be putting these out, but throughout the summer and on into the fall, we may either select a day to go other than our regular fly tying Friday, or we may not. We haven't quite figured that all out yet, but for now, it's a wrap. Until next time. Thanks for joining us.